Live from the Export Beer Garden studio and brought to you as always by Export Ultra, the beer for here. This is the Agenda podcast for Friday the 29th of November.
The Agenda podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
Day 2 of the test match starts today at 11 o'clock and we'll get to the recap of day 1, a very eventful day 1 in just a few moments' time. But Lane, you were on breakfast this morning, so...
Yeah, I was on Hauraki this morning.
What was firing up the listeners on Hauraki Breakfast this morning?
Wow, it was the story about the South Korean individual who tried to get out of compulsory military service by putting on weight and becoming too obese to serve. So he ballooned out to 103 kgs, which I thought, that's not that much.
That's not that big.
But he's 5'6".
Okay, that's huge.
Yeah. And he got a 1-year suspended sentence, and his mate, who he threw under the bus and said he came up with the idea, he got 6 months.
Just for coming up with the idea?
Yeah.
Why would you get binned for that?
I know, that's what I said. I was like, why did he throw him under the bus?
The he made me do it defense.
Yeah.
And it worked.
He said he gave me the idea and told me what to eat. Anyway, the line was down there, what have you done to get out of something?
Yeah.
And I told a story of a mate at school who lit a firework off in his face to get off the French exam.
In his own face?
Yeah. And he stabbed me in the back because him and I used to sit together in French in year 11, so fifth form for school C, and we fucking sucked at French. And like Miss Bayliss, the teacher, hated us. She'd separate us every class. We had to sit in the corners.
Yeah.
And we cheated all year in the internal exams. You know how and then if you can't sit the exam at the end of the year, they do an aggregate of your scores throughout the year. And he lit a firework off into his face like a week before exam, and he got 86% in an aggregate for French. I sat it and got 34%. Now, I'm going to say, Sam Haslam, I was way better at French than you. You were looking at a 20% or below.
Yeah.
And you lit a Roman candle off in your face so you could get an aggregate. And I thought that was pretty extreme. So people...
Worked, though.
It did work. Some people sent in. One guy said he told to get out of committing to a long-term relationship, he told her he had leukemia.
Oh, my God.
He said, I don't feel good about myself, but it was effective.
What, and then she was like... and then she binned him?
No, he broke up because he said, I got leukemia, can't put you through it, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I thought he said, I've got leukemia, and she said, I'm out.
No,
I was like,
no.
you guys are perfect for each other.
No, and then loads of people who've, like, one guy worked with a guy who had 7 grandparents die.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I said the argument was, you can have as many uncles and aunties die as you want because a lot of people, they don't need to be blood relatives to call them uncle or auntie.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's got a family friend that you just call Uncle Steve or whatever.
It gets pretty suspicious pretty quickly.
Yeah, it does. And then
you're moving jobs, it resets.
Yeah.
But like you would know if multiple of my grandparents have died.
Yeah, I'm starting to go,
Yeah.
It depends what kind of family situation you've come from though as well, because some people do have up to 6 grandparents. Well, if they come from if they're a stepchild or come into a blended family and you've got...
Well, everyone's got 4, don't
they?
Yeah. But you're right. You could have 8.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that chat going on. A lot of funerals. One guy got out of an exam at university by saying his grandfather had died, and the lecturer said, "Well, that's really sad. But if we're going to pass you in a kind of a aggregate kind of rule, we need a proof that he's dead."
Oh, right.
And he went home and on PowerPoint created the service sheet for his funeral and put a photo of his granddad in the middle. And he said he did a really poor job. And then he bought that the next day and said, from the funeral, here's the pamphlet.
Doctored the whole thing up.
Yeah.
That is pretty bad. I had, not to get out of something, but I had a mate who, his mate pranked him by doctoring up a fake news article. And he wrote the article, he took photos from my mate's Facebook page from years ago, and photoshopped like a little Hitler mo onto him, and then put it up, and it was just like, Christchurch man photographed in blah 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 blah. May or may not have been a member of the armed forces at one point, and sent him. So then uploaded that to a website, sent him the link so that when he clicked the link, here's the fucking page of the newspaper. But he'd actually just doctored it all up. And so my mate freaked out, deactivated all of his social media accounts. And I was like...
So was that just a prank?
It was just a prank. I was like, that is way too fucking far. Like, how did you get through that whole thing and not go, oh, hang on?
Yeah, we actually talked about pranks as well. It's confessionals. You can confess a sin.
Oh, yeah.
And I confessed that I hollowed out an Oreo and replaced it with toothpaste and gave it to my children last night.
Last night? Why? To make them brush their teeth?
Nah, just sick of them stealing the Oreos.
Oh, yeah. That's not bad. I had...
Because the Oreos are for lunch. Yeah. You open a packet and it just disappears. And they're like, who ate all the Oreos? It's like 3 kids on the couch going, don't know. I'm like, well, it wasn't fucking me. It wasn't your mum. It wasn't the dog. And they're like, I don't know.
And so you put the toothpaste in, and then put them back in the packet to see who... Yeah. Great. Yeah. Did you find the culprit?
Yes, Ralph. The oldest.
Did he come in and go, what's wrong with this Oreo? That's like, and I've told this story before, but at the boarding school I went to before I was there were these kids brewing beer in the sort of ceiling cavity. Oh, yeah. That wee brew situation going on. It
stinks, man. Brewing beer, it's quite a pungent thing to do.
But so does a boys' hostel.
Yeah, true.
But
it does. You actually, when you come to think of it, the process of brewing does smell like my son's room. It's that kind of musty, yeasty kind of
fermenting.
Yeah.
And so the guys that ran the dorm then, they found the setup, and instead of just like bringing everyone into the common room, they put laxatives into the brew.
Oh God!
And then they waited. It was about a week later after it was like bottled or whatever. And the people drinking it, and everyone who shit themselves, they rounded them up and disciplined them.
That's a real long bow, that one. That's
but honestly, like we've talked about boarding school before, but it's like prison.
Yeah,
it's just a bunch of dickheads sitting around. They've got nothing but time, and all they do is just think about doing the dumbest shit that you could possibly think of.
Yeah,
and so but then so are the matrons. They're sitting around thinking about what's going on.
Yeah,
too.
they know what's up.
they gotta find their own fun as well.
I had a friend who started a porn club at boarding school.
Oh,
so he had quite a significant supply of mags, but he also had some videos as well. Yeah. And he managed to get a key to the French room at the far end of one of the blocks, and he sent out an invite, and everyone had to pay like $2 or something, and he ticketed it. And $2, and he then put a projector down and put it into the VCR and did a basically a screening.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know why we thought we'd get away with it, but of course, immediately a teacher has walked past at 11:30 at night, and the fucking French room is lit up like a Christmas tree with porn on the fucking wall. And they just storm in, and there's this 12 dudes in the room watching porn. He didn't even give our money back.
That is so... No, you knew the risk when you paid up that $2. It's so funny you say that. We did the exact same thing at university because in our hall you could but you could borrow a projector if you wanted to do like a group study session so that everyone could look at the same thing. We'd be like, Friday night, we're doing a big group study session. None of us are studying the same shit. You got PE kids, you got English kids. And we just rent out the projector, and then we're in whoever's got the biggest room.
It's like
there's 12 dudes in there,
but everyone's studying this.
Yeah, and we're all just sitting there like, oh shit! While a 80-inch projection of just the most heinous shit you've ever seen in your life. Dudes are dudes, no matter where you go.
Yeah,
you go anywhere around the world, they'll be doing the exact same thing. Okay, so it was pranking people.
Yeah.
And what have you done to get out of something?
Yeah, pretty much. And we had a good discussion on star signs, and I just don't get star signs.
Oh, right.
And do females just sit around talking about star signs?
With each other? Yeah. I don't know.
Because I couldn't tell you. One, you give me a date, I'll be like, no idea.
Yours is Cancer, isn't it?
I did have Cancer.
Yeah, you don't have it anymore.
Nah.
Yeah. What is it, Pisces now? Shittest joke you'll hear on this podcast for a long time. Lane had Cancer, he's a Pisces now.
No, but that was a big discussion around that, and what's the point? And
anyway. I know what it is. I think I figured it out. It's fantasy sports for chicks.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's because it doesn't
make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't fucking matter. No. It's not real. But you let it impact every facet of your life.
And also, I'm massively burnt by it because as an underage drinker trying to get into bars in Hamilton, and I had a fake ID, and every time they would get me, because I'd memorise my birthday, everything. I'd fucking nail it. My false name, everything. There's nothing, they couldn't spell it, whatever. And then they just say, what's your star sign? I'd be like, you motherfucker.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and as soon as you hesitate, you go, star sign, you go, and he goes, get out of here. So I'm a little bit, I've got a little bit of PTSD around star signs because of that fact, because I don't know them.
That would have been your in to learn all of the star signs.
I know, but I refused.
Also, never trust a dude who knows all the star signs.
Correct.
He's a particularly if you're a woman that meets a dude and he knows them all. Like, he's running an angle here.
And either that or you're not going to have any kids to him and he's going to break up with you later on.
because he's a Capricorn.
Yeah.
All right, let us take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll recap the first day of the cricketing test. Just before we get into the cricket lane, last night I was driving the ute home and I got stuck in the typical Auckland traffic.
Yep.
Guy pulls up next to me and honks his horn. And I wind my window down and I look out the window and he goes, "Mean ute, bro, is that a later model front on that thing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm not too sure, bro." He goes, "Yeah, because what year is it?" We're stuck in traffic. I'm like, "Oh, it's a 98. And he's like, "Yeah, well, no, I don't have to. I think the lights are a bit different on the 98. Anyway, looks mean, bro. I love it. I love that it's black. Awesome." And I was like, "You can bid for it on Auto Trader."
You've only got 8 hours.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. This is the last day. It's your last chance to bid on our 1998 Ford Falcon that may or may not have a later model front on it. On Auto Trader, all proceeds going to Movember NZ. The auction closes at 5 p.m. tonight,
right,
the Friday. So if you're listening to this on Saturday, you've cooked it. Yep. So if you're listening to this right now and you've been interested in this ute at all, it is still hovering around 12 grand.
Yes.
But as we know with auctions, they
start to heat up at the end.
They do, yeah.
And remember, you got the 5 grand worth of free shit in there, so really,
that's
it's,
right.
It's 7 grand.
We're looking at $1,000 of petrol vouchers, same worth of grocery vouchers, iPhone 16 Pro, Marshall Amp beer fridge, and a Makita job site radio. So it's basically a $5,000 discount on this ute. And like you said, last chance to bid on that classic Kiwi ute. Text ute to 3236 for a direct link to the listing, and while you're there, tell New Zealand about your car for free on Auto Trader. Day one, summer of cricket. It was cricket and Christmas yesterday, and it was an absolute scorcher down there in Christchurch at Hagley Oval. I've got the entire score sheet on the back page here. We finished the day 319 for 8. Southee and Phillips still at the stumps. Kane Williamson dismissed for 93. Latham 47. Ravindra 34, and Glenn Phillips still chipping away there on 41. So 8 wickets and 319 runs. It's a pretty good day.
It's not bad, but I think it could have been better. And I think they would be a bit disappointed that they're not 319 for 5 or 4, because everyone got a start. Rashan Ravindra, he looked great for his 34. He hit a full toss of Bashir straight to mid-wicket. It was a terrible ball, and he'll be kicking himself about that. Everyone else got a start in terms of Latham with 47. He's the only one who got a delivery that was a wicket ball.
Right.
Caught behind. Admittedly, Conway that was a sharp chance. Atkinson caught and bowled was good as well. But Williamson at 93, something got a bit big on him, and he just spooned it to point. The same thing happened to Daryl Mitchell. He just skied one, got sucked into the bouncer game. Blundell, he got 17. Again, kind of a soft dismissal as well on the cut shot. Bashir got 4 wickets, the orthodox right arm offie.
Yeah.
But nothing looked threatening.
No, he wasn't doing heaps.
Nah, so I think that's probably the biggest gift, 4 test wickets for Shoaib Bashir they'll ever have. But Phillips, he looked good. He was taking the attack to them. They looked pretty tired at the end there. It was a hot day, and that nor'wester was punishing them.
Oh, my God.
And Stokes didn't have a great day, dropped a catch, got a bit of tap with the ball.
Yeah.
Was getting a little bit frustrated. Bowlers were getting a bit upset.
They were bitching.
Yeah, they were bitching about the foot marks and the foothold through the crease, which was a bit slippery.
Because they kept falling over.
Yeah. So, look, they didn't bowl great, but we didn't bat great either, if you know what I mean. So it's fairly even. But if we can fart to 350, because the average score, first innings at Hagley, is only about 270.
Right.
So we're ahead of par now, but my worry is that pitch is not as spicy as previous years.
Yeah.
Hagley. But saying that, Matt Henry with a new pill in his hand, when that seam is hard, And we've got a fairly, not inexperienced, but there's some new batsmen in there, and the likes of Jacob Bethel's Bleach. But you got Zach Crawley and Duckett opening, you got Bleach at first drop, then you got Root, Brook, and Ollie Pope. So it's a fairly formidable batting lineup.
Yeah, where'd this Bethel fella come from? This is the first time I'd ever... his debut as well. But his bowling, he got a few overs.
He got one over.
He got one over. Yeah. He went for 5.
Yeah. We call it Jacob Bethel. He's got the peroxide bleached hair.
Bethel's Bleach.
Bethel's Bleach, we're calling him. He's never batted 3 before, and he's now making his Test debut and batting 3.
It's such Baz.
It's such a Baz gamble, isn't it? It's
Get him in there.
Yeah. Will it pay off? I don't know.
Saw Ben Duckett in the flesh for the first time in my life yesterday. Was it yesterday? What day is it? Day before, when we were out there watching them warm up.
Lord of the Rings extra?
The shortest professional athlete I've ever seen in my life. It was actually it was so noticeable how short he is. And I reckon it's a massive advantage.
Well, yeah, the short balls, a good length ball was short. He can go back and pull and cut.
That's right, yeah. And then just the way that you'd have to change your length because of how comically short this dude is.
And then at the other end, you got Zach Crawley, who's about 6'3", 6'4". He's huge. He's one of the biggest opening batsmen in world cricket, batting with one of the shortest openers in world cricket.
It's like a left-right combination.
Yeah.
It is that bamboozling.
Yeah, right, actually. I think I'd rather bowl to a left and right-hander than a midget and a giant.
That's right. It's a brilliant tactic to just have, an absolute zoo of players out there. This guy's lefty, this guy's righty, this guy's 6'4", this guy's 4'6".
Yeah, there's the batting is a bit of a worry. The bowling didn't look great from England, I must admit. It didn't. Chris Wokes didn't look quite the Chris Wokes of the past because I always found him quite metronomical, and he was Glenn McGrath, back of a length, top of off.
Yeah,
I felt he was just spraying it around a little bit, and it's our first look at Gus Atkinson and Bryden Cast with the great ass.
Yeah,
and
he couldn't stay on his feet.
It didn't. They didn't put any fear up any of the batsmen.
No,
and they all got themselves out really. Like I was saying, apart from potentially Latham and Conway, who got, they were good dismissals.
Ravindra's one in particular.
Oh, he'd be kicking himself for that.
You would be fuming.
Yeah, absolutely fuming.
It looks like it was a last man stands wicket.
Yeah, charging down, full toss, straight to mid wicket, and he would have been like,
sort of half pulled out of it, but sort of just off the toe of the, shit show.
Yeah, but it was good to get everyone back together for ACC commentary. Ed Lee Hart, Jason Hoyt, Jeremy Wells, Lee Baker. Yesterday, and Tony Lyle was in there as well, and went down some strange angles around. Lee and Jeremy revealed when they went to commentary school down in Wellington. Yeah. Because we were talking, Tony Lyle had a boiled sweet in his mouth. And
while commentating?
Yeah, and the guys were saying, look, down at commentary school, one of the first things we get taught is you cannot commentate with something in your mouth. Yeah. And that to ram it home, Jeremy Coney stood up and put himself in Waddle's mouth while he tried to call an over.
Oh, right, to illustrate the point.
To illustrate the point and how uncomfortable it is to listen to someone with a mouth full and commentate. And so Tony immediately spat it out and said, point taken.
Even the visual. Yeah. You don't need to see it. No. We do the podcast where the commentary is done as well. There are notes written on pads in front of me, a couple of score updates, an illustration of a fielding setup. And then I've got
That's actually a nipple.
Okay. Big areola. This is the note that's written on the pad in front of me. The New Zealand pair is set 2 balls prior. What does that mean? The New Zealand pair is set 2 balls prior.
Oh, I don't know what that means at all.
I don't know what that means at all. And then the next one is, I just wonder if England, and then it doesn't, and then it stops.
I've got bone stress. And Ivory Coast.
Ah, Côte d'Ivoire.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That sounds like a Lee Hart.
Reckless note writing as well. That is halfway down the page and then at the bottom of the page. A blank page.
I have some info on that, guys. That is from the BYC. And if you were to choose who would have written something like that, Hoity J in the corner. Yeah. So, still a commentator, just wrong day.
Who writes the first note on a blank page halfway down it?
This is a man who picks a new pad up every day.
Yeah.
Also, their punt's looking good. They put $100 on from TAB hunch money on Williamson top scoring. Yeah. So, but also as a counter, our game day hunch, we put a hundy on Glenn Phillips being top scorer.
So we've hedged it.
Yeah, we've hedged it. He was paying $10.50 though to top score, so there's a lot more money on that than Williamson, who was only $3.50.
He's got a long way to go too, because he's only on 41. I mean, it's pretty safe. So what, he would score another 50.
Yeah,
we're at 380 by then, 390, almost 400.
Oh, look, we're expecting big things from him, but he's got Southee in support with him. How good would it be if Southee managed to beat his top score in his last series against England, in which he got his initial 77?
Yeah, I wonder. That would be incredible. What is the most annoying time for us to get out for the English team? You know what I mean? Because I always find this so annoying. Like whenever I used to play, and even when you're watching it, it's always so annoying. You wake up, you go out there, you warm up, you bowl for like 2 overs, and then all of a sudden you're back in the shed, and then you got to come out and bat.
I think if we can bat for an hour and a bit, that will really piss them off, because that means they have to come out an hour before lunch.
Yeah.
And do they go for run? Of course they're going to go for the runs because they're playing baseball, but that's going to be niggly an hour before lunch. That means the New Zealanders can go out, go hard for an hour, get back in the sheds for 40 minutes, get a rub down, and come out and go hard. Yeah. So an hour would be good, I reckon.
Yeah. Okay. That would be the most annoying. And do you reckon that's what their thing is? I don't think they've got a number.
Nah, I think they've got a number. I think 350 would be would target for them, but. So you never know with Tim Southee when he's batting. He's all over the place, and he's just looking for that length ball to heave through cow corner.
Yeah. He got hold of one.
Oh, he did.
He got 1-4, but I think it was about a 1 bounce 4.
Yeah.
All right. So coverage resumes. Oh, look, it'll be underway by the time you're listening to this. Don't get caught out by the fact that the on the TV it's on TVNZ. I know a lot of people looking for it on Sky. Like, where the fuck is it?
Yeah, no, it's on TVNZ Duke.
TVNZ. But chuck us on the old iHeartradio, which you will have figured out how to use by now. All right, let's take one more quick break, and then we'll get to some of the yours pleases we haven't done while we're on the road. Just quickly before we get into yours please, Life Fitness in Movember have put mindset exercises on all of the gym machines so Kiwis can strengthen their minds between sets. Now, I know this, G Lane, not because I work at the ACC, but because I go to the gym quite often. I don't like to talk about it.
Do you go to the gym?
But in this instance, I will. So what they've done is they've put up these QR codes around next to the machines. So because I know you see it all the time. They'll finish their set and then they'll just sit there and just doom scroll.
Yeah.
And then often they'll get stuck there for like 10 minutes and zone out, and they're like, oh shit, sorry, and then get back into it. So Life Fitness in Movember have been like, look, how do we look at making that time a bit more useful? So they've put these gym QR codes around the gym, scan them, and then they'll give you a couple of little mental exercises to do in between.
Mindsets.
A couple of mindsets, sets of mindsets. And then that way you're going to be stronger mentally and physically when you walk out of there. And then on top of that, you will not dick around for so long between the sets, which will improve everyone else's mental health around you as well. So look out for those around the place. They're in a lot of gyms. I mean, certainly in the one that I was at this morning.
Yep.
And then the guy I was with said, oh, check these out. I was like, scan it, mate. You might get me in your ears. Telling you what to do.
Or myself or Jeremy Wells.
Yeah, that's right. So look out for those mindset QR codes and work out your most important body part, your mind. Now it's time for yours, please.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
5 of them to get through this morning. First caller, yours, please.
G'day, mate. Just on the TAB market, surely we can get one for Tim Southee to surpass 100 test match sixes. He's got, 7 innings to get six sixes?
Oh, yeah.
I reckon he can get it done. I'd love to put a wee cheeky drop on that one.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, if he got 2 this morning, then he's looking at 1 in innings. Oh, but that's if he gets in.
Should we ask Carl from TAB and Sportsbook?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
See if we can get something on that. The Sportsbook will be out later on today as well. Thank you very much for the call. Another caller here. Yours, please.
Yeah, g'day fellas. Just on the not leaving your beer bottles around the office, I think as we come into the festive season, people need to remember the parable of the slowest antelope. You know, it's the slowest antelope that gets eaten by the lions. It's fine at a Christmas do. Get pissed, do whatever you want. Don't be the story. Don't be the drunkest. Don't make the biggest mess. Don't make the biggest, insult to the boss. And just cruise through. Everyone's talking about the drunkest guy, not the second drunkest guy. Hooroo.
That's the problem, though. You don't know you're the drunkest till the morning.
Yeah.
That's the great conundrum.
This is the problem. And also, I appreciate the parable, but it's not the slowest antelope. It's the leader of the peloton that is the one everyone talks about. Yeah. It's the one who's way out in front.
Yeah.
That's why you just got to sit right there in the peloton.
In the pack, yeah.
Draft off the back of someone else.
Yeah.
But I would also say the other part of that is once someone is quite clearly the story, you got free reign.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, go hell for leather after there. But there will be a lot of people in new jobs particularly. That's where it becomes hazardous. If you've been working there for a long time, it's all right, you know. People have seen what you're capable of. But it's that first Christmas party.
Yeah, stay away from the CEO. Let's say that.
Anyone you report to.
Yeah, just give arm's length.
Yeah, stick with the people on your pay scale.
Yeah,
and you'll be fine. I'm sure we'll get to more festive season advice as the weeks drag on towards the end here. Another caller here, yours please.
G'day, me again. Talking about the old Kevin Durant bald spot broadcast betting. That's fucking funny. Seen another one of these fellas won some money on some fella doing the old scratch and sniff.
Oh yeah.
Basketball free throw routine.
Yeah.
I reckon you guys should run a little cheeky little ACC sports book. It'd have to be absolute nonsense, and it would have to be non-monetary value. Free beers, free chips, free
Nelson Mandela.
Free Nelson Mandela. I have talked to the TAB about this kind of shit quite often, and the biggest problem that they have is obviously for transparency issues. They need to have a real clear definition of what it is that you're gambling on, and what is like. How do we know that it's happened? And that's why the scratch and sniff is such a squirrely one, because it's like, now what did he scratch? Did he sniff?
Yeah,
because it was quite.
I think there's some sort of legislative kind of issue around the TAB, because TAB is technically owned by the government.
Right.
They've licensed it out to Entain Australia to run it, but essentially it is the one and only betting platform in New Zealand. And I think to do comedy bets, like what's the sex of Prince William's third child, that kind of thing, or what's the weight of the child, or that kind of thing, is kind of interesting. It actually doesn't sit within the current law of the TAB and the New Zealand Racing Board and gambling. So there's a bit more squirrely shit going on around. They can't just go and make an odd up that's not sports related or backed by statistics, or you know what I mean?
Because then they could pull the odds out of their ass.
Yeah. So,
but in Trump's America, the land of the free, they can.
Yeah, they can. And England's the same. In England, a guy won a bunch of money. He bet on his 4-year-old playing for England in football, and he put like £100 on, and I think it's like William Hill gave him some stupid odd.
Yeah, right. Some bookie.
Yeah, some bookie gave him some odds, and it came in, and he won, a couple of £100,000.
I like it.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff is that's what they get to do over there. But here we're still a little bit backwards in the fact that their one and only betting platform is government owned.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of what kind of future I could bet on myself. Like, I guarantee I'll have 15 beers down by the time the sun sets tonight.
Yeah, but that's very doable. No one's going to take those odds on.
25? 24 and a half. Would you go over or under? I'll be steaming mad at dirt by then. Okay, I think we got two more. Yours, please.
Hey boys, you were talking about a conference or division system in Super Rugby.
Yeah.
Well, there was in the mid-2010s. There was an Aussie, New Zealand and 2 South African conferences. And people kept complaining because there was a fucking shit Aussie team that kept making it through to the semi-finals because they were the best team on the worst conference. Anyway, Manaia probably doesn't remember because that was the time when Crusaders sucked.
I get it, but I mean, that's what conferences do though. I think you take the good with the bad.
Also, I know we talked about it. Was it last year where it was some team made it into the Super Rugby finals playoffs, and they had
it was the Rebels, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they had like a massive negative win-loss record. And yeah, it is comical that they get into the playoffs. They inevitably get humped in the first round, and it's basically a bye week for whoever plays them. Yeah. So it's not that bad. But also, we just want the conferences so that we just play our own teams a bit more. One last caller here. Yours, please.
Gentlemen.
Hi.
There was a bit of chat, I think it was last week during the French game, for a yellow card, what sort of chair the player should be sitting on. I got to thinking, it's called a sin bin, right? Or it used to be called a sin bin. So what sort of bin? Should they get a bin? What sort of bin should they be sitting in? Throw that French referee in the bin. Jesus Christ. Fuck South Canterbury.
Oscar the Grouch type bin would be good. You know,
trash can.
The old trash can, and they hop in it, and when you put the trash can lid on it, and when the 10's up, you take the trash can lid off and they come out.
They Oscar the Grouch out of the thing. And the referee runs over. But now with the new rule where they review it, they lift the trash can. Sorry, mate, that's actually a red. And then they put the trash can back down. No, fuck no. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I think it needs to be that because you can't. Wheelie bin's just a bit too modern. I think it needs to be just trash can.
What about like a skip?
Oh, yeah.
Too big.
A little bit too big. I mean, we talked about it should be more humiliating, like a toilet seat and you have to pull your pants down and sit on it.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I would say that the plastic Bunnings chair is pretty humiliating.
Yeah, it is. That's up there. They should maybe a camp chair, like a really small camp chair.
Like a puff. Oh, no, a camp chair.
No, like camping.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. Camping chair.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking like the Ottoman over there.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
A camp.
Like so when you go camping in the bush.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Miscommunication. I like a camping chair. All right, let's knock this thing on the head. We will be recording the sportsbook straight after this. And other than that, we will see you on Monday for another episode of the Agenda Podcast.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda Podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.